chance to check out the message I sent about Saturday night at dinner? Oh yeah, I got it. It's been a day. It's fine. Whatever. Are you okay? Oh, I'm totally fine. Does it sound totally fine to you? Do you notice the tension in the voice of that partner? So there was a gap of silence. And somehow, this partner created a story, maybe in their head. And that story was not kept private though. It came out in certain ways, like a tone, a posture, and that I'm totally fine. And that story become a background story of this relationship though. And it has an impact on how close those two people are. Welcome back to the Happiness Game podcast. My name is Yi Zhao Martins. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist in the state of California, and my specialty is somatic couples therapy. So a silence is such a norm. We used to have a lot of silences. Remember back then when we write letters and we sent through the post office? It takes a couple days, so there's a silence of a couple days before you receive. And we used to also have those phone calls, and we have an answering machine that take the messages when we're not around our phone. And that's a silence could be a day or two before they get to return the message. And read receipt, what a great creation. It lets you know when the other person read your message. But the silence nowadays apparently has a timestamp, right? Sent, received, read, ... And then you fill in the gap with what happens. That silence doesn't give you the context of the receiver. How's their day going? What's their energy level like? What are their thoughts and feelings about the message you sent? And when they get around, have more bandwidth, what they actually want to say to respond to your message. And silence by itself is information, isn't it? It contains a lot of information. It could be very ambiguous. It's actually ambiguity. And ambiguity leads to anxiety. Because when there's not enough information, our brain likes to fill it in. It creates stories and to explain it. And unfortunately, we often treat that story as fact. But here's what makes this really urgent. The story is not often just kept in this personal system. The energy leaks. It could be show up in a tone, a posture, too quickly, I'm fine. And that has impact. That energy has impact on the relationship system. And then that become a story of its own. And then build on more and more stories and mind reads. So within minutes, what is just an ordinary delayed message make both people's nervous system getting activated. They get anxious. Both are bracing. And they didn't even say what's going on within their personal system, how they feel, what their thoughts are, what's really going on with each of them. And next thing you know, people start to drift apart. And that's when the distance comes in, disconnection comes in, and intimacy gone. So in this episode, there are 3 things we're going to talk about. One is this partner's ambiguity, how that turned into anxiety. And 2, this partner's mind reads make the anxiety into more anxiety. And 3, next thing you know, the whole couple system start to slip into flight and moving away from the real feelings and the thoughts and the connections. They start to manage each other's reaction now. Then I give you 2 specific tools. One is how do you catch a mind read that you have about someone before you acting out or acting on it and treat it as a fact. And 2 is how can you replace your ambiguous silence with something that's more specific that the other person's nervous system can relax into with more clarity. Let's begin. Let's take a look at this partner's ambiguity first. So when a read receipt shows up on your phone, there is a confirmation that they have received a message. It was great. It's kind of like a priority mail. You can track online knowing when it arrives, right? But this message has a lot of things that's now knowing. It doesn't tell you where this partner is and how they're doing and what their thoughts and feelings about this message and if they're planning to respond to the message and when. So there's a lot of room for imagination. And for this partner who's waiting for that message, they may have a lot of feelings. They may have a lot of thoughts. And it could be urgent for them to get the information from the other person. So all this energy they have, they start to use it to create stories and maybe different possibilities. Like, do they not want to respond to me? Are they avoiding me? Did I say something wrong? Do they really care about me anymore? Oh no, maybe they feel I'm asking for too much, or maybe they want to keep distance. Are they an avoidant type? All this story they're creating start to spin. None of them are completely true or not true. They're just thoughts. They're possibilities that needs to be verified. But when they spend so much of their energy in spinning these possibilities, is that a good use of your energy and your resources and your system? You could have asked a direct clarifying question, directing your energy that way to get more clarity, to get closer to the other person, to achieve the goal you want to achieve. May that be planning a dinner together with them and with the family and friends, or may that be creating more space for the two of you. So common behaviors in this partner who is giving out ambiguity, and why are they doing that? Sometimes this partner feels like, well, I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't have enough time to respond. I saw it, but I don't have the time to respond. Or they could be thinking, well, I want to be thoughtful about this response. Let me check my calendar, getting enough data before I give a thoughtful, responsible response. I don't want to just throw something out there I couldn't fulfill. It could also be this partner totally stressed out about everything. I don't want to think about the future. And they're not the planner. Or they could also feel resentful being pushed into planning more things. It's all possible. What this partner's holding those information without communicating to this partner though. So therefore, the receiving on and having all the story created in the head. Now let's take a look at this partner's mind reads. With all these mind read stories they're created, the difference between a mind read, a reality is huge. But when we're in that anxious space that's triggered by the ambiguity, we forget to check out the mind read. Sometimes we believe it's actually fact. It could be one moment you believe this is the fact, oh, they don't care about me. The next moment you believe the other fact, maybe they're too busy. And you are kind of switching between sometimes multiple facts that you created in your head. And a lot of energy got spent on there. And maybe you're pacing around the room to manage your anxiety. Maybe you're organizing, cleaning to get rid of those excessive energy. See, it's all about energy. That's not directed towards the goal you want to achieve, which is to get clarity. So one way to check out your mind read is actually to ask a clarifying question. You can state what your mind read is and you ask them. So we'll get into that in our tips very soon. So now when both people are creating anxiety, ambiguity creates anxiety, mind read creates anxiety, you have a double dose of anxiety now, what happens to your couple's relationship system a lot of times is slipping into this flight state. What is the typical signs of this state? So both people start to feel almost there's a wall between the two of them, this transparent, translucent wall. They start to see things very blurry. They feel kind of numb. They feel not real. They don't feel connected with each other, and they don't know what went wrong. Nothing actually went wrong. They didn't say anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. What's actually happening is they're not doing anything to get information crossed and to have that connection. They may say something really polite. Everything is fine. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. What do you think? What do you want? And without disclosing the true feelings, their thoughts, and their values. So they don't get to be known. And so there's a not intimacy really happening here. So now it's time for you to get some tips. And one, I promised, how can you bring your ambiguous message into more clear communication without being pushed into making a decision? A lot of times when you're not ready to give out information specifically, like, are you willing to go to the dinner? Because there's a lot of things that you don't know yet. Where is it going to be? What time is it going to be? Who is going to be there? And how's your date going to look like? Do you have enough energy for it? Those are the things that our brain is working really hard to plan, to budget those resources, energy in our body, and manage our body. So it's very normal and human to not be ready to give an answer yet. But what you can give is, number one, you received it. Apparently, there's a red receipt. So, number two, state where you are. It could be, I'm very busy right now. I'm crowded. I'm swamped right now in this moment. Or, I don't know yet. I have different feelings and thoughts about this thing. Right? Stay where you are, the state. 3, give a specific time that you're willing to revisit this topic. Like, let's talk about this over dinner tonight after I review my calendar, my schedule. Right? So you're not giving an answer, yes or no, that you're not committing, but you're giving a frame. So the other person has some information about the context you're in. They actually feel closer to you, and their anxiety level goes down. Yeah. So now let's take a look at the mind read. How do you check out mind read? Let's say if I'm in this partner's position, I have a mind read that you don't care about me. You don't have time for me. Or you don't want to spend that Saturday night dinner with me and my friends. You don't like my friends, right? There's tons of mind reads. Oh, I'm so good at coming up with mind reads. So you can check out one at a time by saying, well, in my mind, I thought you did not care to go to dinner with me and my friends this Saturday. Is that true? And you get some information. The next one is like, well, in my mind, I thought that maybe you don't care about me anymore. Check it out. And in my mind, I thought you don't like my friends. Is that true? Check it out. So you gather some data, and then you might have feelings. I know after check out mind reads, you may have feelings about the answer, and that is, you can also share how you feel about that when you hear those answers, and that's information for them. And by talking about how each of you think and feel in response to each other's factual data about yourself, it brings the two of you closer. You're moving along in your communication versus staying behind the wall, just kind of guessing, staying in your personal system like a little turtle. Right? No information, no energy in your system together. So those are the 2 tips. Now let's come to a simple guided meditation to help you calm down your nervous system. Are you ready? Let yourself arrive here in this moment, exactly as you are. There's no message waiting in this space. No story that has to be finished right now. Just this breath and the next one. Let your breath move at whatever pace it's already moving. You don't have to slow it down. Just notice it's here, doing what's always done, quietly, without being asked. Somewhere in you, there might be a part that doesn't like not knowing. Yeah, me too. A part that learned a long time ago that filling a gap quickly with a story felt a lot safer than sitting in the gap itself. That part has worked really hard. You don't have to convince that part it was wrong to do that. You can simply let it know, right now, in this breath, in this moment, you don't need that whole story yet. If it helps, picture the not knowing itself, not as an empty space, but as a space that's held. Something that's still in motion, slightly, subtly, just not yet quite finished. See if you can feel the difference between a guess and a fact. They're not the same. Even when the body sometimes mistakes one for the other. A guess can be checked out. A guess has room in it for something other than the first worst version of it. And let yourself in rest and not knowing exactly what's true yet. Not because not knowing has been resolved and solved, but because you can be here breathing in this body without needing it to be resolved. In your mind wanders back towards a story it's already written. Let it wander there gently, and then let it wander back here to this breath as many times as it needs to. And if you want, you can gently put a hand on the story that's already there, and use your left hand gently brush it to the left as many times as possible, as you need to. And this is not a failure of our practice today. This is the practice to bring yourself back here with me, with your breath. You are allowed to want clarity. You are also allowed to be in your body right now. And for this one breath, there's nothing left to figure out. Take one more breath, a little fuller than the last one. And when you're ready, come back. You can choose to put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and repeat after me. I can hold not knowing without rushing to feel it. A guess is not a fact. My brain and my body can learn to check it out before it believes it. Thank you for viewing. I will see you next time and continue our series on our nervous system in relationships with each other in our digital world. See you next week.